Pasta, made by mixing some eggs, flour, oil, and then giving up halfway after you fail to use the pasta roller properly. Pasta. But where exactly did this Italian delight come from? If you answered Asia, guess what? You're fucking wrong. Pasta and noodles are not the same and will never be, you fucking heathens. But the answer to that question is that it most probably came from the time when the Roman Republic was still around. Now, the pasta of the past looked nothing like the pasta of the present. And it wasn't even pasta, it was flatbread, which was called... Wait, how the fuck do you read this? So it was called that at the time, and there was one recipe for it made by Athenaeus of Poprais, which he nabbed from a person called Chrysippus of Tyana. The recipe, called lagana, consisted of sheets of dough made with wheat flour and less cheese, then flavored with all sorts of spices and then deep fried. On a side note though, I just imagine Athenaeus trying to pass this recipe off to people like, "Oi cunts, you tired of eating that same stale dough every day?" What? Well, ain't you guys lucky, cause I just made this new recipe called lagana and I think you guys will like it. That's what we're already eating, and you didn't even make that recipe. Chrysippus from Tyana did. That guy doesn't even have a Wikipedia article about him. No one will even remember him after the fall of Rome. The fall of what? So fast forwarding to the time after the fall of the Roman Empire, another recipe called lagana will originate the ancient people. But no, the reason it had the same name as the previous recipe was probably because it was also made with sheets of dough but with added bonus of being stuffed with meat, making it quite similar to the modern man's lasagna. Oh, and I also forgot to mention this earlier. There was another type of pasta like that was fairly common around ancient Greece called itrion, which was instead of being fried it was boiled, making it fairly close to how pasta is cooked today. Okay, but enough of that inky on ancient Greece talk, because that's the only useful thing they contributed to the world in the last couple of centuries. Okay, but real talk there, ancient Greece? Just because you cunts are extinct, that doesn't give you an excuse to not pull your weight in the struggle, you fucking leeches to society. Okay, and so moving on from that defunct land, let me tell you about something more important. Like the Middle East. In the Middle East, one ambitious lexicographer, Isobel Ali, sought out to gather the words of the world, or a dictionary, and one of those words was the good word of pasta. In that dictionary, the word for pasta is called itria, which was defined as string-like shapes made of semolina, which is the sweet dust, and dried before cooking. On how this string-like pasta got to Italy, I didn't really know, but some historians say that Italy got pasta from Mediterranean trading in the medieval period. But that's pretty lame, so I instead subscribe to the theory that pasta became a thing in Italy when the Crusades were happening and some Italian crusaders after raiding a village were like, "God has blessed us with victory, my fellow crusaders. Now present your spoils of war." Ah, very good. Okay dude, what the hell is that? Well, you said spoils of war, so I brought this. How the hell is dough a spoil of war? I got it from plundering a family who was having dinner and they seemed to enjoy it. So I thought you might have enjoyed it as well. What the fuck? Who would want some family's leftovers? Well, who knows, maybe God does. Yeah, okay, that's fair. And henceforth, pasta became the new body of Christ, being feasted upon every mass gathering. So moving on, there is another theory on how pasta came to Italy. From the Macaroni Journal, it says that Marco Polo was in fact the one that personally brought over pasta to the kitchens of Italian homes everywhere and into our stomachs, when he returned from his travels from the land of China. But what if I told you that this was just some bullshit being propagated by Big Food just to sell ravioli to suburban American households? Like, yeah, sure, I'll trust some source called the Macaroni Journal. Like, seriously, it's like citing some source called the Mommy Diaries or some shit. And like I said earlier, pasta and noodles are not the same, capiche? Okay, now when you think of pasta, you'd imagine tomato sauce, meatballs, and maybe some pesto. Italians from the 17th century, however, would think of nothing. Because tomato sauce hasn't been unlocked yet by the Italians, the most common way that they would eat pasta was either by itself or maybe if they were feeling a bit courageous, they would put some cheese or bits of meat on it. One thing to add is that back then they used to eat pasta with their bare hands, only adopting the use of forks when a Roman chef, Francesco Leonardi, invented tomato sauce in the 1790s. Now, as you know, or might not know, hand washing wasn't even a common thing back then. So imagine this. Some Italian worker, after a hard day of work building cathedrals or whatever, he sees that his wife has already made dinner, so he's like,
本気を出せ。よろしい。そのオーダーに応えましょう。戦闘結果は分かっているよ。数式のようなものさ。
But hey, at least now in modern times, people use forks when eating pasta. And with it becoming even more widespread now than ever, it is pretty wild that estimates show that a single Italian would eat 27 kilograms worth of pasta per year. And if you translate that to US measurements, it would be about 125 Big Macs per year. Oh well, that's all. Donate to Wikipedia and see ya!